Hey, Philip, welcome to the stream. Hey David, thanks for being here. Oh, well, I hope everything goes well today. Family's always the most important thing, so feel free. But thanks for popping in, I appreciate it. That's families over the holidays. Hey, Smurf, welcome in. Yes, in one of the playthroughs we are. The Paladin playthrough is a little bit farther along. So the Paladin playthrough, and that's expected to kind of swap here, I think, as we get into more of Act 2, but the Paladin playthrough just entered the Shadowlands from the Underdark at the end of last livestream. So we're a few minutes into the Underdark, and we're about to have our first encounter with the Harpers, which we saw at the end of last livestream in the Paladin playthrough. The Bard playthrough here has come back from the Inquisitor confrontation and dealt with the Commander on the way out. And now we are inside the Creche, and we still have the training room and the hatchery encounter, as well as the encounter at the main gate, I believe, to fight our way out of the Creche. And then we will be entering into the Shadowlands through the mountain pass today. So an entirely different way of approaching entering the Underdark, and two different ways of meeting up with the Harpers, and you'll kind of see the pros and cons of them both today. But yeah, the majority of it, probably the first half of today is my guess, is going to be getting out of the Creche on the Bard playthrough, and then the second half will all be in the Shadowlands, and then everything in the Paladin playthrough is going to be in the Shadowlands today. Yeah, it's good stuff. I always did like Act 2. Act 2, especially with Shadowheart's continued, carrying on of her main storyline quests, has always been one of my favorite quest lines. Yeah, Philip, that's one of the possible conclusions that go along with the epilogue. The way you do it, it's not really a fully fleshed out thing. You can pick up the Githyanki Egg. If you do not give it to Esther, and you just keep it with you, you don't have to keep it on anybody. You can store it in the camp chest. But if you keep it with you, and then right before you go into the final fight at the end of the game, and I'm trying not to give too many spoilers, but right before the final fight, make sure that Lae'zel has it in her inventory when she if she has it in her inventory, then you will see that outcome in the epilogue, the new epilogue that was added in patch 5. So it's not fleshed out, it's not mentioned anywhere in the game at all. It's a consequence that pops up only in the epilogue. But yes, that is certainly an option for it. That's actually why I'm taking the egg in both of these playthroughs. Just because I think that's the only real outcome. I mean, for my relatively good playthrough, that's the only real option, I think. And there are multiple ways to acquire it. You can persuade the guy in the hatchery to give it to you. So it's there's a lot of different ways to acquire it. You don't have to steal it. He feels bad that it hasn't hatched, and he realizes that the commander's probably going to order him to destroy it. So he can be persuaded fairly easily, for a persuasion-based character, to give you the egg. And then he'll give you his boots, and all of the traps will highlight. The teleportation traps will not highlight, but all of the traps in the room will highlight, so that you can walk past them and go pick it up. So there's a bunch of different ways to play that encounter out. In my opinion, yes, the Shadowlands is Act 2. A lot of people broke Act 1 at the Overworld and the Underdark and said the Mountain Pass and the Shadowlands were Act 2. I've always thought it's just the Shadowlands that were Act 2. The Shadowlands and, of course, the Gauntlet of Shar, but Moonrise and everything else, that's all Act 2 for me. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 25 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Bard gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on some admin notes, the main one being that this is, of course, the final set of live streams for 2023. As such, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been here throughout the year. It's been amazing to see all the interactions with all of you and the support that you've shown the channel. Again, I said right when I started this channel that, you know, I'm not doing this to be famous or to make money off of it. That's not the goal here. The goal here is that I'm playing these games that I love, and I obviously enjoy doing it, and if other people can get some enjoyment out of doing the same thing and possibly learn a few things here and there at the same time, that's, you know, that's just a bonus on top of it. So I've had a lot of questions about the playthroughs and that sort of stuff, and whether they're going to continue, and yes, it doesn't matter how popular the game is or how many people are still playing it, or what the reviews are like. If I'm still enjoying it, I'm always going to be playing it. So thank you again for all of the support throughout this year. I certainly appreciate it, and here's looking forward to the coming year. The second thing on the admin notes is that the weather here is schizophrenic. from one day to the next, it doesn't know what it's doing, but it is getting fairly cold here, and I'm a severe wimp when it comes to the cold, so the heater's running, and that means the humidity is really, really low right now. So when that happens, everything dries out, including me, so I tend to cough a lot and tend to get, you know, sinuses dried out and that sort of stuff. So I try not to cough into my mic to avoid coughing right in your guys' ears. But it's just one of those things that if it becomes a problem and you hear it and I forget to do it, just throw a reminder in chat, please. And say stop coughing in my ear, and I'll correct it as quick as I can. But yeah, I do have a lot of that going on right now just because of the weather, so I apologize. The final thing that I want to mention is that with the start of the new year, it's only fitting that I start off the new year slightly differently with these two playthroughs. I've told you all multiple times on the playthroughs that I have plans laid out for not just the characters that I'm playing, but also the origin characters that I have brought along with me. And I think it's fitting that we spend some time coming up after the first of the year doing full respecs on our parties and our origin characters. Now that would very well take an entire live stream to go through ourselves and all of our party members. So what I'm going to start with is going through respecs on just a character here and there, one, maybe two each live stream until we get the entire cast of origin characters done. Like I say, I have some plans for what they want to be. The Bard here is going to go through some significant changes. Normally I wouldn't do this until level 8, which I think is a milestone level for me. But with the new year starting, I think it's a good point to go ahead and offer up something new. So we're going to go through some respecs as the live stream start into next year. Like I say, one character per live stream, or maybe two to start it off, and then we'll get back to our normal adventuring. So hopefully you'll see some changes in how things are going as far as the characters go and what my plans for them are going forward. So look forward to that coming up here in the new year. I think that's enough on the admin notes. On a recap, so for our Bard, at the end of last live stream, we had fought our way out of the Inquisitor and Commander's areas of the Creche. We went in, picked up the Blood of Lathander, came back out, and obviously had to deal with the Inquisitor and the Commander who was barring our way, and now we have to fight our way the rest of the way out of the Creche. And that is going to be what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to jump right in here and get started with that. Hey, Ostermeyer, welcome to the stream. Hey, Lord Henry, thanks for being here. Okay, so here we are. You can see that we have come out. This is where the commander's office was, or the captain's quarters here, and the Inquisitor fight down this way. We came out, and at the end of last live stream, we went in and dealt with the quartermaster fight here. And now we are going to continue out this way, and we have the main gate fight that we have to do. We're actually not going to approach this from here. We're not going to approach it head on. We're going to approach it from a flank. We have the training room fight here. And then over here we have the hatchery fight. The infirmary, if you remember, has already been cleared out because we failed our persuasion checks and had to get into a fight while we left the infirmary. So that fight's already done. So we have these 3 encounters left, and we're going to start this off with the fight here. And to do that, I'm going to break our group and bring Astarion out. Now everyone's waiting for us here, and these detection cones are a little bit strange. So sometimes you can get into, you know, a detection area here and it doesn't show it, but we need to do, you know, get past these doors. Sometimes you can shoot through these doors, sometimes you can't. So it's a little strange. So I want to move up here a little bit and see what we have in our range. So for our sneak attack, we're just outside of the range there. I don't think we're going to be able to get in range on any of these. We're not. So, but we can get a regular attack here. This is outside of our normal range, so we're going to have offsetting advantage and disadvantage. But we're able to get attacks in. What we really want to do is just start the encounter off. And we're going to start it off here by making an attack against Savarsh. And we're going to keep attacking until we get noticed. So if we don't get seen, we're going to keep throwing attacks out here until we do. So I'm going to be prepared to hold down my action key and keep attacking him until we get seen. Okay, so we got seen right off the bat. Oh, and he went first. Okay. So everyone in here is surprised. So he's going to start off, and his main action is probably going, next turn is probably going to be to cast Mental Instruction on someone. So I'm going to move a little bit into the room here with him, so I can get better attacks on people here. So, oh, it still says he's surprised, even though he went before me in the turn order. That's a little strange. Oh, no, it's not. His surprise will disappear after this turn. That's right.
By my hand, Istak.
Okay, so there's his action, and now he's going to do an attack on me. That's all fine.
He's guiding his students.
Okay, so
Sharper now, hungry for blood.
we need to save one of our bonus actions out of this, but the rest of it we can go ahead and use. So we're going to try an Arrow of Roaring Thunder here. Okay. So we're going to save our last bonus action here to move back around the corner.
Quickly.
And hopefully get out of sight here. And let them all dash in. Alright, now before this next turn starts, this is where we need to come in and lay the groundwork for what's going to happen here. Let's see if we can get this
Every step
from around the corner. I don't know how much of this we're going to be able to get. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, he's going to have to move out around the corner a bit to get this where I want it to be. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've got Will in sight to make sure he's not moving, because you don't want him to move to be able to get this off. Okay, and he rolled really well. That's good. So now that we have Hunger of Hadara down, you can see the detection cones completely disappear on this side of the hunger. So now we can go ahead and bring
Unheard, unseen.
everybody else into this fight. And we can bring them all the way up here to the edge. And let's see what we can get for ranged attacks here. So no. Let's go after the Ardent if we can. Not too worried about any of the youth. Okay, now we will bring our bard up.
Should mind my step.
He's got 14 left. I would prefer for him not to get another hit off. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Maybe I can. I'm just debating this. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just remove the Ardent from the fight. The Ardent is most probably the dangerous person in that fight, just because of their ability to cast spells through Hunger of Hadar here, and their psychic spells have quite a bit of damage on them, so. Okay, so for here, we are actually going to move Astarion up, because I want to try and get Astarion his Vampire Bite, so he can get the Happy trait. So for now, you can see he's got advantage on everybody here. So now we'll just start causing damage, and let's start causing damage on the one who has temporary hit points. Almost. Okay, so now here I would like, and again, I don't think I'm going to be able to. Yeah, target's still too far. So we'll focus on everybody here, and again, starting with the ones who have the additional hit points. Let's actually try something else here first. Okay, let's see if we can instead try and lock some people down here. inside the hunger. So that's going to kill him next turn. These two are about the distance that I want them to be. They should make it right up to the edge of this on their next turn. That's going to allow me to get Astarian's bite in. So now we can focus on the ones in the back here.
Battle favors the fearless. Coming through.
Hey, that moved them back. So they're still all the way inside the hunger, have a long way to go in the meantime. We'll see if anybody gets any attacks off on Will. Okay. Okay, so for me here, I don't think I need to waste any on the youth here. Let's continue focusing on the ones here in the back.
There's blood in the air.
Okay, that's what I wanted to see. So I'm going to leave at least one of them here for Astarian to deal with. But the rest of them... So here's what's... Again, another illustration of how powerful advantage is. You're going to see this literally exploited when we get into Act 2. Great Weapon Master all in is counteracted by advantage in so many ways. So I've still got an 88% chance to hit here, even with Great Weapon Master all in active. Okay. So with that -5 to hit, there's still an 88% chance for it to work. If I turn that off, that's a 99% chance to hit. The only reason it's not 100 is because there is the possibility I can roll 2 1s here. But that's the benefit that advantage has. And we're going to, like I say, we're going to see that come to life in Act 2 with our Great Weapon Master characters. So for now, I don't need the extra hit points or the extra damage. I just prefer to make sure that I'm hitting. Okay, now I need to leave this youth here. So I'm going to have disadvantage on my attack here because I'm threatened. But yet they're blinded, so I've got offsetting advantages. Okay, and obviously with Great Weapon Master I could do a bonus attack, but I'm trying to get Astarian his happy bonus, so I'm going to leave my actions here. I don't think I can reach this one back here. Yeah, see, I'd have to move into the hunger. Well, you know, actually, I can do that because I can then move right back out. I might take some damage in doing it. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't have to. Because Will is still here. I'm going to move Will over. He's hidden. Now he's going to pop out. Give me a ranged attack. That's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to hold my Bard's turn.
I am fury. I am death.
And go to Astarion here. Now I can actually sneak attack here. And now, even though it's not Will's turn, I can have him drop concentration on Hunger of Hadar.
Let's have some carnage.
Time to push my luck again. Very well.
I want to try and soak up the attacks here.
Pay attention! Even hell gaggled with the devil's stench.
Hungry for the slaughter.
Okay, so we'll jump our way in here with Lae'zel.
On the move.
We may as well try and disarm him. It doesn't really matter at this point.
On the victor's path. Fleet of foot.
And I do not want him pushed back. I don't need to use that. Oh, is he going for help? Nobody told you you could leave.
Time to press ahead.
And now you definitely can't leave.
Time for cull. Time for a new approach. Over here.
Oh. Missed the 80%er. But at least he followed up. Okay, so that got him the happy condition, which was the main goal there. To get him another +1 in attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. So, for the rest of this, where are we on our carry weights? Okay, so we're okay. There's a lot of stuff to pick up in here. All of this stuff here is going to be very, very useful for us when we get into Act 2. I would advise against selling all of this off, depending upon what you've done already in Act 2. I'll explain that here in a bit. Let me just clear up my carry weight. Okay. All of this armor and stuff, the armor is by far the most expensive stuff in the game. The armor that you can turn around and sell from these is really worth a lot of credits. So the armor is what earns you a lot of your money. So holding on to the armor and selling it and or giving it away to improve attitude is one of the main things to do. And in Act 1, there are a few vendors that you meet in Act 1 that carry all the way through to Act 3. If you adjust their attitude at the start in Act 1, that attitude adjustment carries all the way through Act 3. So you can get cheaper prices from them as long as you invest in them, basically, early on in the game. The farther you get through the game, the much more expensive things are going to get. So that's why I want to make sure that I am investing. Actually, I don't need to do that because we need to get spell slots back anyway. Make sure that you're holding on to these items to invest in a vendor in Act 2 in the Shadowlands, that if you didn't invest in him in Act 1, you need to do it now. Because like I say, things are going to get extraordinarily expensive. And getting those things for cheaper prices is going to be very, very important.
Does this count as adventuring?
So we're going to do all of our searching and picking stuff up out of barrels, and we're just going to be taking everything. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to be taking it to help us sell off more things later on. And again, here in the infirmary, this is entirely empty and cleared out. Everything here's been done. We sold off all of that stuff during our last live stream. So now we have the
Let's see what this does.
hatchery. Now the hatchery
Better be cautious.
can be extremely annoying or it can be extremely easy. It entirely depends upon what happens with the actions of the hatchery keeper. So we're going to move everybody back here, and again, as usual, we're going to start this off with Astarion. Actually, we're not. Well, we're going to start off the combat with Astarion, but we're going to start off first by having Will destroy the door.
Not a peep.
Nope, not magic missile. Elder's Blast.
Checking things out. Toning things down.
And now we'll take Astarion in here. And these detection cones are fairly set, so you don't have to worry about these. Okay, so here you're only really going to have... There are 3 people in this room right now. You only really have attacks on the warrior over here. It's nice if you can get attacks here, but you normally can't. Your longbow characters can sometimes get an attack from here because of the additional range from those compared to hand crossbows. but here the only one that you really end up with is attacks here. And you're going to have to move into the detection cone for this attack to happen. But most of the time, you either pass the stealth check, or you fail it, but he still gets the attack off anyway. So we'll go ahead and get an attack here against Warrior Voon. And again, we're going to be prepared to keep attacking if we need to. Okay, so everybody rolled before Astarion. So now we need to just get out of here. So we're going to get one offhand attack here. And then we're going to dash. I wish it rolled... Yeah, I wish it would show you a log of what the rolls were for initiative. So I'm going to move all the way back here out of sight. And you need to move around the corner because they can Misty Step a long way. Okay, and that's actually what I wanted, was to have the Custodian move all the way out here. So now I can focus him down, basically, and not even have to really worry that much about anybody else that's still in the room. The warrior has jumped, so they are going to probably dash. Well, they might be able to run here, jump through the door over here and still get to me, but I doubt it. I think they're going to have to dash next turn. So I'm going to keep this up by staying back here around the corner. And let's see who else we can get into this.
Oh, I'm lost.
So his detection cones are all sorts of messed up, which is actually really beneficial for us. He came out and is still facing into the wall. So I'm actually going to bring Lae'zel up here, and this means that the warrior is probably going to get an attack on Lae'zel. But we will move over here. Now, Lae'zel's attack here with Soulbreaker has a 94% chance to hit. So we're going to start off with Soulbreaker. This is the weapon action that comes along with this Soulbreaker Greatsword from the captain that we beat last episode. We can possibly stun him with this attack. And if we can, that means he's definitely dead. Okay, so he's stunned for 2 turns. Now, when you are stunned, you can't take any actions, bonus actions, or reactions. It doesn't get another saving throw with damage or anything like that. So for the next 2 turns, he's not going to be able to do anything. And that includes Counterspell. He loves casting Counterspell, and he will cast it on anything. So Eldritch Blast, Misty Step, he will cast it on anything to prevent you from casting. But here, this allows us to almost ignore him for now. We're not going to. We're going to continue causing damage on him just to get him down to a 1-hit. But we're really going to be prepping for what's going to happen when the warrior comes around the corner here. So also our attacks are going to have advantage on him because he's stunned. Okay, and now Lae'zel, we're actually going to 16 hit points. Let's see if we can get in.
Breathe deep and move.
A couple other things here. I do not want to... Well, I guess if I kill him, it's not that big a deal. Okay, so 8 hit points is good. I would prefer to keep in reserve Will for this. And now that he's stunned, he can't take reactions either. So I'm going to move Lae'zel back here
My path be true.
to get her out of attack range of the warrior. And that, hopefully, that's out of attack range. We'll see. It all depends on his movement choices. So he's dashing. Is he going to jump through the door? He is. So he's going to be in attack range. But he dashed. So that used up his action. Okay, so that worked out well. So now his detection cones are facing the wrong way for him. I'm going to use one of my bonus actions to hide. Oh yeah, I can't be threatened here. I forgot about that. They changed that in patch 3. So let's do this instead.
Careful.
Make sure we turn Repelling Blast back on. Okay, so now his detection cone is facing towards me, I'm pretty sure.
This feels good.
But that means that I should still be able to get out of it. Boy, that's going to be really close. I was hoping to give him the Bloodless trait, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Boy, that I just don't know if that's going to work or not. I don't think it's going to work, so I'm going to I'll use one of my bonus actions to dash here and just not worry about it.
This will do nice.
I'm going to move out of his detection cone. Going to use the other one to
Let's have a
hide.
little fun.
Okay, and get my sneak attack in. And now I'm going to hold the rest of his action.
Where do I go from here?
Oh, I can't. Yeah, his action's the last one left. This should provoke an attack of opportunity, but it's not showing it.
Be quick.
Oh, no it's not, because he used it to stand up. So now we have her left, and she's not going to be able to make it out of that door. So I should be able to move up here and take out both of them.
Taking position.
With Lae'zel's turn here. Oh, missed an 80%er. Okay, but that gives me my Great Weapon Master bonus here. And now I can move out of line of sight of the door just in case she decides to come in. Don't think she's going to. Oh, she is. Okay, so she still is in line of sight. That was going to be a mistake on her part, though. Okay, want to turn off Repelling Blast.
Come on. Can't stay idle. Need to find a way forward.
Aww.
I'm ready. With finesse.
I should have dashed before that. I don't think it works here. Oh, I can. Maybe. Yes, I can. Okay. So now I'll go around and again search bodies here. You do get his boots here, regardless of whether you persuaded him to give you the egg and he gave you his boots, or you get them by looting them, one way or another. Acidic surfaces don't affect you and you're resistant to acid. I'm going to have Astarion pick all of this up.
Never a dull moment.
Someone there?
Okay, so he's encumbered. I do not want him encumbered, and I actually want to give most of this to Will. I forgot about that. He needs to have 20 or so pounds in his inventory. And he's going to put on Creche's boots. And then I need to give him... make sure he's got the silver pendant equipped.
There.
Okay, so we're going to go in here and... some of these traps we've already seen. Some of them we have not. I think this one is right around here. Whole lot of bonuses. And this is without advantage from our Gloves of Thievery. It's just hilarious watching all those count up. Okay, so he also has... and I need to get one set of armor on him. And I'm going to have him put on the Ring of Jumping, which he doesn't appear to have on him. There it is. Okay, so he failed that perception check. Failed that one. There's only one spot to land. And it's right there, and he failed the perception check on the trap. So that's going to be a problem for us. So we can't disarm the trap.
You can see a vague outline of
And I need to not
something
let my
within it.
jump run out here. So we're going to get this strange gas effect coming up, and we just want to get out of it and jump our way back while we still have the jump spell active. Okay. And now that we're here, we can put back, actually we don't need the smuggler's ring for where we are. He's got the gloves of power. See if there's another ring that might. Okay, so we just don't have anything that's any more useful. Oh, I guess I can put on the fetish ring for him. Okay, so now we picked up the Githyanki Egg. It weighs 20 pounds, so be aware of that when you're picking it up, that you don't get overloaded, because when you're overloaded you can't jump as far, can't move as fast. So be aware of how much it weighs, and then you can immediately send that off to camp. You're not going to need it again unless you plan on, as part of your playthrough,
Alright.
giving it to Esther
What now?
as part of that quest.
A hero at heart.
So looks like we still have everything
Blackets
fairly
will be
well
done.
as far as action
Have it all in
economy.
mind, and
So now we're going to
in it.
go head out again.
Don't waste a step.
Okay, so I think everything through there is all finished. This was the infirmary. The hatchery's done. So now we're just at the main gate. And as I said, we're going to approach this differently. We are not going to approach this with a frontal assault, which would be going straight in here with everybody looking at us. There are two warriors. There's the Gish here in the center. There's also there are two raiders. There's one back here, I believe, and one up here. And then there's also an Ardent in here as well. So it's a stacked up fight. And as such, we want to try and approach this from a flank. Yeah, and Philip, it's actually funny. I rolled my first double ones in any of my playthroughs, my personal playthrough included, just yesterday during my personal playthrough. I had advantage on the sleight of hand check and rolled double ones. So it was the first time I'd actually expended a thieves toolkit in a long time. So all right, so we're going to break our group back here,
Just waiting.
and as usual, start things off with the Starian here. We're going to climb up the ladder and get a survey of the battlefield here. Okay, so here's the Ardent. Here's one of the raiders. Here's the other. Those are your two dangerous ranged attackers. Your Gish is here in the middle. She has Githyanki War Magic, so she can Misty Step all over the place. As well as some other hold spells. And then we have the two warriors with their ready to parry trait. So what we're going to do is focus the Ardent here as much as we can to start this off. So for that, normally you can get yourself over here onto this edge of the ledge. And start your attacks this way. And we're going to kind of boost this up a little bit. Ooh, rolled a crit. Oh, beauty. Wasn't expecting that, but I will certainly take it. So, boy, now I'm, Okay, so let's... Oh, another crit. Astarion, you go. Okay, so now they're all going to be surprised.
Staying out of sight. Unheard, unseen.
So I have another full turn of them not doing anything. So let's get everybody else involved in this. And I don't know what's going to happen with this. Ah, that was bad. I was hoping that that would not trigger combat. That's why I kind of moved out of line of sight, but there's a few of those actions that can trigger you to be seen or can trigger combat no matter what they are. And it's such a random mix of what triggers it and what doesn't. And it's very hard to remember what does and what doesn't trigger it. Some weapon actions will trigger it, others won't. Some spell preparations or castings will trigger it, others won't. It's very, very strange. So, like I say, I don't entirely know why some of the things do what they do, but at the end of the day, it's just one of those quirks. So, normally, Githyanki have pretty high wisdom saves. I've got decent 65% chances here on this raider, so I'm going to try that. Perfect.
Out of sight, out of mind. Every step counts.
And now with Will, since everybody's going to be surprised again, and again, now here, want to make sure Repelling Blast is off just in case. Okay. So that first round worked out really, really well. Two dead, including one of the ranged, as well as the spellcaster, and the other ranged completely incapacitated. Okay, so for Lae'zel here, what we're going to try and do now is lock people in place.
Taking position.
Okay, so he's frightened. He's not going to be able to move. He's frightened. He's not going to be able to move. And I missed both of those. Okay, I can move her back out of line of sight.
Forever dauntless.
And now for Will, his turn is done as well.
No choice but to keep going.
And for me, still done as well. So now all of their surprises go away. So now I can start focusing down the Gish here. They're still frightened for one more turn. Okay, I can use a bonus action here to hide.
On the hunt.
And then get a ranged sneak attack in. Good damage, and now I'm going to have him move down again, out of line of sight. So he's frightened, he's locked in place, can't move, can't do anything. And that was the goal here, because now I'm going to drop them all into the hunger. And now just focus on them. I'll leave the raider as long as I can. She's eventually going to pass a saving throw here, but for now I can continue to focus on the Gish down here inside the hunger. So probably not a great chance to land any of these wisdom-based ones. So let's keep focusing on the Gish, because I do have advantage on all these attacks. Boy, there's just some horrible misses there. Okay. To be expected, I should have probably used a precision attack there.
Let's find some prey.
Okay, so I can't use my sneak attack there because obviously I can't have disadvantage.
Excellent.
But Arcane Synergy is triggering. And that ends him.
Coming through.
Oh, what does she have? One hit point left? Boo hiss. Okay, I'm gonna let the hunger take care of her.
I'll strike you down.
Frightened, so again, locked in place and can't move. So the hunger's gonna take out both of them. And now I can focus on the raider. down here, but I don't want her to get up, so let's wait one more turn. Well, she's got 32 hit points and she's on low ground.
Taking position.
Whoops. Oh, come on. Okay. Now she's gonna die to the hunger. And now Astarion can use one bonus action to reapply Hunter's Mark, his second bonus action to hide, and his last bonus action to kill the raider. 46. That was a heck of a roll there. So 2d6 piercing plus 3 dexterity modifier plus 6d6 piercing.
It's been a long day.
Plus the +1 from my arcane synergy from my spellcasting ability modifier. Plus 2d6 piercing from Hunter's Mark. With a 31 roll. Gotta like Astarion. So now Astarion has plenty of space.
Well, hello.
So now let's go around here and start
Moving.
Let's get going. Always room for more?
Keep a blade close. It's mine now.
We can just go around here and pick up all of these things and get ready to leave.
Tread lightly. Crooked touch.
As always, Eric, and welcome. Thanks for being here. Do I have a chance to fail this? Nope. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, this could actually be close. Okay, so there's a ring of arcane synergy here, again, which is always good to have.
A quick rummage.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
And that's just me trying to, for some strange reason, always keep all of my keys and crafting ingredients on a single character. Me being a little bit ADD there. Okay, so that's enough for Astarion, so we'll switch to Will. To pick up the rest of this.
When am I needed? Easy enough.
Still breathing, despite everything.
The pride of the gate. Checking things out.
And we'll do these last 2 rooms here of looting, and should be done.
Finders keepers. This better be good.
And again, like I said, there is a use for picking all this stuff up. Will's actually encumbered now.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Okay, so down in here, just in the skeletons, we're going to have some crafting supplies for some of these that we're going to be able to loot. So the bloody note is the same one that we've seen before. Basically, one of the captives writing a letter to Lathander, writing about Lathander. Okay, and that should be it out here.
What path lies before me?
Okay, and that clears out the creche. Okay, so fairly straightforward. So now we need to start thinking about our way into the Shadowlands. And I've told you that, well, we saw in the Paladin playthrough that we went through the Underdark. Here we are going to go through the Mountain Pass, but with the Underdark, just like having Lae'zel on the party here was a big source of her personal quest line. You want to have Shadowheart with you, and to a certain extent Karlach, if you have Karlach available to you as a party member, with you on this next, at least starting out and finishing up with the Shadowlands. So what we're going to do, and Will also has a part to play. So the ideal party makeup there for continuing through personal quest lines would be to have Karlach at least for a little bit, Shadowheart at least for the beginning and the end, and Will at least through the part involving the Last Light Inn. You get some valuable dialogue options and that sort of stuff in there. Shadowheart's main quest is in the Gauntlet of Shar, which is at the end of the what I'm going to consider the end of the Shadowlands on this playthrough. So I'm going to head back to camp and reorganize things a little bit here before we head out. Now, we are going to take Karlach with us, but just for a little bit, I guess. And you'll see what I mean by that as we go here. So Lae'zel is going to stay with us, and the main reason for Lae'zel staying with us actually is because of the armor selections. She is much better outfitted for utilizing the armor than anybody else that we currently have in our party makeup. And that especially goes for Karlach, because as a barbarian right now, as a pure barbarian, she does not have heavy armor proficiency. So she can't use any of that armor.
We must press forward. Let's deal with Ketheric, then find Voss in Baldur's Gate. Are you sure that's the best course of action? Confirmed. Until...
Okay, we're going to bring
Always makes my day better.
Karlach into the party. Why am I encumbered? We can fix that.
So we're going to meet Voss in the city, are we? Set the tenant of the prison free? This is all very, I don't know. I like a good caper, but I'd long for a tiny bit of status quo now and again. Hell yes.
Okay, now she's going to get at least one level up here. Yeah, she's going to get 2. So, for level 5 Barbarian, this is where they get their extra attack. So, incredibly important for your martial characters, obviously, to get level 5 to get their extra attack. Barbarian level 6 is where things can start to change a little bit if you would like. You get another rage charge, which is always good. And you get mindless rage, which means that you can't be charmed or frightened. And that's really valuable. Especially for some portions of where we're going to be, or a specific encounter that we're going to have inside of the Shadowlands. But you can swap out here and start taking at least a couple of levels of fighter, if you would like, to get maneuvers and to get your heavy armor proficiency, if you would like. But that's really a story for another day. We're going to keep leveling her up just as a pure barbarian right now. But 6 and 7 can very easily go that way. At 7, you get Feral Instinct, and this is your I'm going to now start leading in combat thing. So you no longer have to be entirely focused on having your dex-based characters do it. They're going to get a +3 bonus to initiative on top of whatever their dexterity bonus is, which is right now for her is a +1. So she also cannot be surprised, which can be incredibly useful in a bunch of different combat encounters. Okay. So the thing about Karlach that we've kind of talked about before is that, again, she does not have heavy armor proficiency here. So it's only light, medium armor, and shields. So you need to be cognizant of that when you are trying to spec her out, because you can't just move everything over from Lae'zel to put on Karlach. It just won't work. So to change some of this out, and again, the Grimskull Helm is heavy armor, and the Adamantine Splint is heavy armor, so neither one of those she's going to be proficient with. The Gloves of the Growling Underdog can be moved over. The Disintegrating Nightwalkers can also be moved over. The Aberration Hunter's Pendant is just really for Githyanki, so that's not something that she's going to be using. So the Caustic Band and Crusher's Ring are always very, very useful. As far as her ranged weapon, I want to probably go to my camp chest. We definitely would like to give her the haste helm. We're going to give her the exterminator's axe. There's a reason for that. Going to give her the light of creation also. There's a reason for that. Going to move over at least one piece of infernal iron. And now we can start looking at... Boy, Lae'zel's inventory is just full of garbage. It must have been a while since I've cleaned this up. Okay, so for her ranged weapon, I think I know what I want to look at, but I'll move over Gandrels for now. Okay. And then, as much of this... as I can. Okay, I don't need the skin burster ever. Not going to need that for now. Not going to need this for now. The guiding light just has to go on somebody. She can keep all of that. And I do want to move these over. Okay. So she still needs a set of medium armor here. So let's go check our traveler's chest. Hey, Mean, welcome. We're going to sort this by type. So Giant Breaker and Herald are both in here. Okay, so there are some other things that I will be able to take out of here and sell. Okay. We're going to take these. Okay, so let's look at how we want to approach this from an armor class perspective. We'll deal with that here in a second. Okay, so that's probably going to be better. Okay, so let's take a look from an armor class perspective. How this is going to work. So right now our armor class is 14 and she's benefiting from unarmored defense. So let's clean this up and see what options we have. So the Blood Guzzler garb is still going to keep it at 14. She's just now going to be able to get Wrath when she gets damaged. Having the amulet here is probably better than the Moondrop pendant. Okay, and then we also have the Everburn Blade. And I do want to put another shield option on her. Okay. So we're going to keep the Light of Creation in our bag, though, and you'll see why here in a little bit. And now for Shadowheart. Now this is where things are going to become a little more iffy. Because I'm fulfilling the role that Shadowheart would traditionally fulfill in our party. So that means we don't have a whole lot of choice except to leave Astarion behind to bring Shadowheart with us. Whoops.
So, Lae'zel's going to war with Vlaakith? Going to brick her chains in Baldur's Gate?
There is, Mean Deed. You're going to see it during this live stream.
Oh, darling, I'm hurt. I thought we had something special. I guess I'll It sounds awful.
On my way.
Okay, and we're going to bring Shadowheart.
I didn't expect Lae'zel to turn on the Lich Queen so readily. Wonders never cease.
All right, some company wouldn't hurt on the road, especially if there's trouble.
Okay, and now we're going to get some level ups for her. And again, like I mentioned before the live stream, it started in the admin notes. We're just going to do the straight level ups here. When we start out the new year, we're going to be starting to go through all of our respecs for our characters. We should be, I would normally wait until level 8. We're close enough that I think starting at level 7 is not necessarily a big deal. So for her as pure cleric, we're going to gain level 3 spell slots and another channel divinity charge. We also have Cloak of Shadows, which is her channel divinity, one of her channel divinity powers, which is basically you become invisible if you're obscured. So you can't be in bright light when it happens. Now for the spell preparations here for our additional level 3 spell slot, there are a couple things that I want to make sure that I'm focused on. First is Sanctuary. And next is Daylight. Two things that I definitely want to have with me while I head into this. Things are going to get interesting. I'll say that as we go. So we want to have Daylight with us. And now at level 7, we unlock level 4 spells. And here, for our preparation, why do I have Speak with the Dead prepared? Okay, that was strange. So here are a few different options. Banishment is amazing. Single target reprieve from them for 2 turns while you focus on ads, so to speak. Extraordinarily useful. Freedom of movement can also be very useful, especially against targets that are going to be stunning you. Guardian of Faith, however, is going to be fairly useful in a couple of different situations. Again, as a way to clog up a choke point, which we're going to see. So for now, I'm going to leave it prepared. It might end up going away. We'll kind of see what happens. Now, what I've done is removed all of my level 2 spells out of this, and I think I'm going to end up dropping Mass Healing Word instead. No, we'll keep it as it is, because we can always use that second level spells as upcasting slots. So now for her, she is fairly open as well here, and we're going to take her back to the box. So we'll give her the Blood of Lathander. Here, actually we won't. We're going to leave that here for now. She's immune. Well, kind of. What does she have on? She has Selûne's Dream right now. That doesn't really matter. I'm not going to go through a full equipping of her. Because, again, not the most engaging gameplay to sit here and watch me go through equipping them, but I need to get her at least set up for what we're going through here. So for her, she's going to get the Luminous Armor. Here. Forgot I had those. Okay. So for her boots, these aren't anything really special one way or another. Nothing's going to web us in this. Okay, so she has the gloves of archery. Doesn't really matter. She's got the boots of striding. Okay, that's not too bad. So we can do this. And since she's going to take over, actually, the main healing duties, we will swap all of these out to her. Okay, and now I still need boots. I guess we can leave those, or I mean, gloves, I guess we can leave those there. No, that's what we're going to do. Okay, and this is the, yes, that's Crowning Glory, so we'll leave that there. Okay, so I think that gets her set up. Now she just needs a weapon. And we're taking that for the radiant damage. And we're also taking that for radiant shockwave. Okay, so now for the 2 rings here. I won't be dealing any damage with any of those, so we'll take the light cantrip here. And this last one doesn't really matter at all. We're going to pick up another ring here in a second, which I'll be using. Okay. So, last is a ranged weapon here for her. And she does not have a lot of proficiencies. So yes, it's just light crossbows and short bows for her. I don't think we kept any of those around. We didn't. So we'll just leave that for now. Like I say, I'm not too worried about it. Last thing we want to do is swap over some items from Astarion just to help with lock picking if we need to get into that. Since Astarion is not with us, we're going to move over some lock-picking gear, so to speak. For her. And I think that should be good enough. Okay. So, still got some healing potions and stuff here, so I think we're good for now. So, Astarion, did he also pick up some stuff and was carrying a bunch of stuff around? Some. Why is this not moving around?
There's no time to waste.
Because again, we want to be able to sell a bunch of these items off. And we do want to move one of these to Karlach and one to Will. And I think that's it. Does she have a shield? She does. Okay, so I think that gets me
Still alive. So
good
that's
enough here
progress.
to continue on. We're going to be... The things here in the Shadowlands, honestly, aren't all that stressful until you get into the main encounters. So for now, I think we're going to be okay. With this. What we definitely want to do, though, is
Here we go.
to take a long rest before we head out. See if anybody needs to talk to us. They do not. Hey, Rymar, welcome to the stream. And hey, Jerry. Okay, so we always want to start things off by renewing our speak with animals.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
You're a little bit glitched there,
I don't
Scratch.
know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
Thanks, buddy. Okay, so we did pick up some sandals, so... Okay, so now instead of leaving the camp, we are going to head to the mountain pass.
If not over, then through.
Ooh. One more thing. Okay, I've got it. Well, Shadowheart's with us. I forgot, so it doesn't matter. We're good. Okay, so the entrance from the mountain pass is down here. We already saw it briefly with our encounter with Oh, we haven't had the encounter with Elminster.
Stay thy course a moment to indulge an old man.
Okay.
I inquire if perchance you retain among your traveling companions a man who adheres to the given name of Gale.
Boy, I hate to do this, just because this takes a while. There's a lot of dialogue here. And I want to get into the Shadowlands here, but I do have a lot of viewers who only pay attention to one live stream, and since we haven't done this yet, I think we need to let it play as opposed to me fast-forwarding through all this, because there is quite a bit of dialogue here.
Ever a man of leisure. Would it pain you greatly to assist me along the little voyage I intend to undertake to this aforementioned camp? And I would confirm it to be so. Please. After you. My thanks for your excellent guidance. Ah, and yonder I spy the object of my pursuit.
Elminster?
The very same, Gale. And a fair bit miffed he is, too, finding himself forced to expose his best pair of boots to so many miles of country road on your behalf.
I don't understand. How so on my behalf?
I was bid to spare neither time nor my own self to find you. She sent me, Gale.
But why? Out with it, Elminster. Please.
Young man, has your sojourn away from Waterdeep washed away your decorum as well as your patience? Nigh a 10-day I've gone without honest fare, worthy of the name, drank naught but what the sky entitled my thirst. Why, some bread, cheese, and a cup of wine would appear unto me a feast. Surely you won't begrudge me a mite of rest and repast before I get out with it? And a great kindness that would be. See, Gale, even in these barren parts, the art of hospitality begets inspired new works, if only one keeps up the practice.
Oh, for the love of...
Fine, fine. I'll turn a deaf ear to the clarion calls with which my scorned stomach beseeches me. graver matters are at hand. Plenty to digest, after all. A good deal to stew over, if you will. Words ladled with import should be savored so as to better absorb their meaning. Wouldn't you agree?
Elminster.
Right. You see, that is to say, Gale, my boy, I've come to address a most pressing matter. I'll speak as plainly as I can, forswearing the accustomed frills that decorate my speech. I'm here on behalf of Mystra. The message and the charge I bring you are hers.
Oh, Mistra's delicate feet are ill-suited for the hardships of the road.
You know where you went wrong, Gale. No, we needn't dwell on that here and now. But even so, you're to be given a chance of redemption.
Mistra would consider forgiveness.
She would consider what she considers to be forgiveness. Mystra is aware of the misadventures that have befallen you both. She knows of your strife with the Absolute, that most insidious of evils. The very purpose of my presence, in a roundabout sort of way. You must know that the Absolute is more dangerous than you can possibly conceive. It threatens all who live, even those who are undying. It threatens the gods, the weave, the very fabric of the universe itself. That is why I have come here to charge you, Gale, with its destruction. It is Mistra's belief that only you can.
The orb.
Precisely. Mystra has granted me the power to stop the clock, as it were, on the orb's rush to overpower you. Instead, you will be able to unleash its lethal combustion at will.
Interesting. This could be help, or hindrance. We shall have to see.
You must find the heart of the Absolute, whatever that may be, and use yourself as the catalyst that will burn it from this world.
He is not. But it seems that Mystra is.
It brings me no pleasure saying this, my friend, but such is Mistra's will. Yours must be the sacrifice that will undo the Absolute. And for your sacrifice, you will be redeemed. Such is Mistra's promise. With that, I've said my sorry piece, and need only bestow unto thee the charm I was bid. Mina hastra mistraril idalion thras annas dithra. It is done. Both charge and charm have been committed into your care. To you, I commit into care Gale himself. I count on you to shepherd him well on this strangest of journeys.
Or some other fortune altogether.
Like moons make swell and wane the nescient seas, so too the sky-strewn gods ordain the tidal fates of mortal days. And yet, an ocean born in lonely hours, come ebb, come flow, come all that is beyond the breadth of our dominion. Be a moon unto yourself. Even the waves of fate can break upon the shores of will. Farewell, my friend.
Farewell, Elminster. I'm glad she chose you. An audience with Elminster is never less than memorable. I'd have hoped to introduce you to him in less dire circumstances. But those are hard to come by these days. The Doddering Act is merely an illusion, one he's most adept at maintaining. Elminster is the most formidable wizard in the realms. Perhaps in existence. For Mystra to have sent him, the severity of her bidding could not be clearer, or weigh more heavily on me. Time seems so infinite when you're young. A month is an age. A year is a lifetime. It is a strange feeling to realize how little of it one might have left. Of course, we offer the clearest solution to our problem. All I have to do is find the right place and time, close my eyes, and let go. Then the slate will be clean. Wrongs will be righted, the absolute will be gone, and I along with it. I've no doubt she has the power to do so, but as for the permission, Ao would not look kindly on her meddling in mortal affairs. Divine intervention has a tendency to make things worse, not better. As for Elminster, he's saved the realms more times than legend can recount. But to take on a god is no easy feat, even for him. My orb is the best chance we have. And only I can wield it. If there was, I'm sure the goddess of magic and the greatest wizard who ever lived would have identified it. But alas, only one solution is offered. That remains ahead of us for now. The heart of the Absolute must be discovered before I can stop its beating. Then I suppose there is nothing more to be done but find the heart of the Absolute and stop its beating.
Wits and blades, always sharp.
Have you wondered what people will say, Will, when they find out the monster hunter is becoming a monster?
I've faced countless perils and conquered them all. This will be no different.
I've always had a soft spot for the confident ones.
How much fun?
They always disappoint there.
Okay, so now we're going to head on to the Shadowlands. There's a lot of personal quest information there about Gale to go through. Nothing really that we have to deal with now. His personal quest line isn't really fleshed out until much later. So, as we've talked about before, the Paladin entered through the Underdark. We're going to enter through the Mountain Pass, and these are two entirely different ways to end up at essentially the same spot. The difference being is that there's a dramatic difference in the way, what you have to go through to get there.
This darkness, it hurts. You must feel it too.
Are you the true soul? I'll take that as a yes. Listen up. Grab a torch, stay out of the dark, and move fast. The shadows have eyes. Go on.
Okay, so entering into the Shadowlands,
Best be on my way.
a couple of different things. First is you need to have a light source. Now, you should have picked up the Blood of Lathander, which is going to give you Lathander's light. So in a 6-meter radius, you have light. Now, 6 meters is not that large an area. So you're not going to be able to keep your entire party in that as you move, unless you're moving manually, which is incredibly painful to do. But Lathander's light provides that light source. The second thing is that Shadowheart, for the most part, is immune to what is happening here in the Shadowlands with the Shadow Curse. So she does not have to carry a torch through some of the areas here at the start of the Shadowlands. You're going to learn more about that as we go here, and we'll get a cutscene about it. Everybody else, it's good to have a torch available to you as you're going through this. Now, torches are light weapons, but you can see that, well, actually, that's not going to work with the Spell Sparker anyway. But your torches can be, I guess here I can probably illustrate it better this way. Okay, you can hold torches in your offhand. They are light, classified as light, so you can hold them in your offhands and have your main weapons still held in your main hand. However, none of our characters are really set up that way to have light weapons in their primary hand anyway, so the torch that you're going to be carrying is going to be replacing your weapon for the most part. Now, when you see here, I have a torch that's here that's available for me to use, but it is not equipped right now. It's kind of in my inventory slot ready to be used, but it is not equipped. So using a torch is going to take out your weapon slot, which, if you know where the encounters are and you can prep for them, might not necessarily be a bad thing if you have time to change out of them beforehand. The other thing is the reason that we have, and I do still have it, we have the light cantrip given to us by Guiding Light. the light cantrip here. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So the light cantrip only affects one target at a time, but it lights up a good area around you. And you are able to maneuver around with that. Now, the other thing that the light cantrip does, remember, is that you are fully illuminated. So if you are trying to stay in the shadows, if you are trying to stay hidden or obscured, the light cantrip is not going to let you do that. So there are downsides to the light cantrip, but for the most part, those downsides are not really a big deal here through the Shadowlands. Right? It's just something to keep in mind as you go through this. So we are going to quickly do some looking around here. We're going to pick up a whole bunch of clothes, and I don't know who has the carrying capacity for this. Karlach still has a little bit, but Shadowheart is the main one. Okay, and now we're going to head out, and you'll see what starts to happen here. We have a 6-meter cone at the front of us, and we have light cast on Karlach behind us. So we're going to be fairly well kept in light throughout this entire time. Now, when you move, when you're stood upright, you can see a large gap tends to open up in your party. If you stay hidden, that, and you're not going to be able to in this particular entry. But if you stay hidden, your party tends to stay closer together as you continue to move. If you stop, you're always going to get that gap that pops up.
I can feel the shadow's power here, but they don't seem to be harming me.
Okay, so now with Shadowheart, she mentions it.
It doesn't seem to affect me like it does others. Not as badly, at least.
Do you know what this means? I must be blessed. Lady Shah is protecting me where others are left to face her wrath. She loves me. She must do.
Lady Shah wouldn't bless me like this for no reason. There must be something she wants of me.
Those signs we found about Dark Justiciars, perhaps they were no coincidence. In either case, I need to watch for any place dedicated to Lady Shah. A temple, perhaps.
Okay, and that's a bit of foreshadowing about what you're going to run into. But for the most part, Shadowheart is going to be immune to it. So if she's not standing in light, it doesn't really matter. And what that means is that you can organize your party order here to get Shadowheart into a position where she's at the back and you're at the front. And then even if the other two people with you might not have a torch, you're going to be pretty well protected. So, assuming that you have Light of Lathander at the front. Now, if you don't, and that's why I say I'm keeping Light of Lathander on my bard just for now. We're going to quickly, very quickly, not have a need for any of this anymore because of how we entered here. But for now, this is kind of the way we're going to progress through this. And we're going to do, like I say, most of this in hiding. And there are several reasons for that. But for the most part being that it keeps the people back in the back grouped up around Karlach who's lit, and me, I can be out by myself and not worry about it.
This beast didn't go down without a fight.
Okay, you're going to start finding different crafting supplies out here. And the other thing I can do by having the Light of Lathander on me and having Karlach lit up back here is I can separate from the group. I don't have to have them always near me. I do have a heavy chest up here. So, again, whoops. Nope. Gloves of Thievery. Smuggler's Ring.
Come on, open up.
Oh, wow. Didn't expect a 1 and a 2 to start off the day, but hey, getting those out of the way now, I guess.
No traps, please.
And again, I'm looking through everything.
Gored to death by the look of it.
So I know we have a little bit of space left on Karlach. Very much like the tree, the susser tree, you have these branches that extend different locations to lead you different ways as well. So always watch for those as your pathways.
Pile of belongings, forsaken to the curse, so that their owners could escape with their lives.
And came to resent your tutor, I bet. I taught them to fight, not to hate.
Okay, so this is obviously the way the tieflings came. There's a map out of the the Emerald Enclave through with a route to Baldur's Gate. So this is how they came, and obviously ran into some misfortune here. We're going to learn a lot more about that as we go through this. Okay, didn't expect that. Probably best to have that on Shadowheart anyway. Okay, and now we get down into here and you see we have a quest marker for Find the Cultist Camp. Okay, now you can see that these are non-hostile right now. So we can come out of hiding,
Can't slow down.
go in here and have a conversation.
Hey boy, you want the bone? Fetch! He see that blighter go? Swallowed whole by the shadow curse. Bet he was pure tasty. You're the true soul we're taking to Moonrise, I'm guessing. Right you are. Go through and talk to Kansif. He's been waiting. Wait, you're joking, yeah? But we're ready to go. You just need to tell Kansif inside.
Hey, so you can have him run out there. It was a fairly brutal thing that he did there to the hyena. I'm not going to.
Of course. Good one. Now, we best get going, eh?
Okay, so they want us to talk to Kansif.
For discussion.
True soul. An honor. Did you bring the lyre? Good. We were told to expect you. Then pluck a tube, and our guide will come scuttling.
Okay, now for this you have to have the spider lyre, which you get from the goblin camp. You can get one off the body of Minthara, but you can also loot another one while you're there. That is the lyre that I've been using ever since the goblin camp, so it's on my back right now. You'll find out here in a second. I mean,
Yes, I hear them, Your Majesty, calling us their god and their guide together.
God. A Drider. I always thought the stories were exaggerated.
Greetings, in the Absolute's name. You have been charged with guiding us.
New flesh for you, my queen. But who are they?
Best introduce yourself. Perhaps you'll listen to a true soul.
And you? What are you?
More faithful of the Absolute. They need a guide to the tower, same as us.
Your minds connect, and you hear a whispered voice. The Absolute. Or just the echoes of his fractured mind reverberating in the dark.
A true soul. You have more worshippers every day, Majesty. Yes. Yes. They'll do nicely.
okay, so a few comments here. As has been pointed out in the chat, there are multiple ways to enter into the Shadowlands. Well, there are two. You enter through the Underdark and you enter through the Mountain Pass. You're both ultimately going to end up at the same place. Well, I guess if you're doing a pure evil playthrough, you'll end up at a second place. But the question really is how you're going to get there. If you come in from the Underdark, you come in the north side of the map, and you are much, much closer in a direct path to the Last Light Inn, and the only path you can take leads you right to the bridge that crosses to it. So if you enter from the Underdark, you're going to be immediately next to the Last Light Inn. Here, we are a lot farther south from the Last Light Inn. So here, the Drider is going to actually take us to Moonrise, which is at the very far south end of the map. So if you are following the Drider here, you are playing along as a true soul, and they are trying to escort you to Moonrise Towers. However, you're going to see that that can go one of two different ways.
We have our queen's favor. She speaks to us, protects us, graces us with her blessing.
And her magic lamp.
And they are jealous of your gift, Majesty. But you gave it to us, and we always keep it close.
Now, there are multiple ways you can play this out as well.
No! Our queen gave it to us. If they wish to walk through the darkness alone, they are welcome to.
Good. Now, are we ready to depart?
Bless us again, Majesty. Shine your light. Protect us. Come. Follow and stay close. Do not leave the light. Do not feed the shadows.
You heard him. Move out!
Okay, so now the Drider is going to take off. So the Drider is classified as humanoid, a level 6 drow, has moon shield, which is protected by the light of a moon lantern. That's what he's carrying out here. And they are going to wait for you to follow along before they take off. There's a proximity here, which you can see you have to maintain for the Drider to move. If you get outside of the area of his moon lantern, he's going to wait for you to rejoin him to keep moving. So it's all based on you. It's not based on the goblins or the hobgoblin or anything like that.
An axe-bearing mountain of fur she was.
And now you are following along the convoy.
I hope you don't mind.
Now you can stop off and look at other things, because the convoy will stop and wait for you when I still have my light protections. Okay, but for it to continue on, you're not going to be able to get away from it now.
Patience. Majesty, you bless us with patience.
Now, one thing I have not tried
Turn to the light.
Okay, so you have to stay together as a group for it as well. You can't separate one of your party members. And this is where that's going to become important.
I'm back. Turn to the light. Stray.
I smell a trap.
Okay, you can see that we have, because of our see invisibility skill with our eye, you can see that there's some Harpers up here that are waiting to ambush us. And again, this can go multiple ways.
Wait. Something's wrong, Majesty.
Who's there? Show yourself! Harper's attack! Kill the cultists and get that lantern! Heretics! Villains in the dark!
These Harpers are clearly enemies of the Absolute. They could be worthwhile allies. But defend the guide and you may preserve your cover as a true soul.
So here is where this journey can split. On a pure evil playthrough, you're obviously going to be defending the caravan here and staying with the Drider. Otherwise, this gives you an opportunity to attack the Drider. Now, if you came in through the Underdark, you came in from the north, you went to the Last Light Inn, and on your way out of the Last Light Inn, you met this group of Harpers on the bridge. And they said they were heading out for an ambush, and it popped up a quest marker on your map to join them in this ambush. So you were on the other side of this, and you were surprising this group, and it played out very much similar to how any other combat takes place. You can split your group, bring one of your group up into the fight, and then bring everybody else in separately. That is by far, and I mean by far, the easier way to do this encounter, is to come in from the Underdark and ambush this caravan so that they're all grouped up and your party members are not intermingled with them. Right now, we are stuck right in the middle of all of these guys. So even if the Harpers decide to, or we decide to defend the Harpers and attack this caravan, we're going to be right next to all of the enemies. And we don't have a way to really manage the battle. Okay, so it's much harder to do it this way. But I'm going to turn on the caravan and attack the Drider here.
What are they doing? We thought they were true souls! Traitors! Heathens!
So now everyone rolls for initiative. Oh, just one shot that. Okay, so here you are presented with one of the main things that the Drider does. What they will do is use their turn. They will then cast Sanctuary on themselves so that you can't attack them. And then they will sit there and wait because they can't do anything either. So he will sit there and wait for Sanctuary to run out. And then after it runs out, he will have a 2-turn timer of it can't be cast again. So right now he did all of that damage. He's trying to cast Sanctuary on himself, and then we can't attack him. However, if you would like to focus him down, you can counterspell Sanctuary here and focus entirely on him. However, we are right in the middle of a whole bunch of crap. And we're going to have to try and manage this a little better. So I think what we're probably going to do is go ahead and do this counter spell. Will rolled fairly high in initiative, so he's going to get to go next. So I'm going to counter spell Sanctuary, have Karlach maybe go after... Oh, I can't do that. I guess I'll have Karlach go after Karnas. And then we'll use Will to try and immobilize everybody else.
No god can protect us.
Okay. So, first...
On the victor's path.
If Will moves, is he going to invoke an attack of opportunity? It doesn't look like it, which is good. I want Will to be moved back. So we're going to drop a hunger on everybody back here. Okay, and now I'm going to get Will out of here. It says, it does not say that that's going to provoke an attack of opportunity, so I'm going to trust the game when it says that. Okay, good. I want to get Will out of here so that the hunger stays active, so that he's not going to lose his concentration.
My turn.
And now Karlach is just going to have to wail on Karnas. Now Karnas has got a high armor class, so it is hard to get attacks on him. He doesn't have any resistances, but to get those attacks in, we are going to have to be frenzied. Otherwise, we are going to be taking a substantial penalty here on these attacks. So right now it would be a 70% chance with advantage to hit with a reckless attack here. That leaves us open to attack on the next turn, but Karlach has hit points to absorb it. Oops, can't use reckless attack again. Okay.
This is my time.
And Will's done. Oh, that was interesting. That was actually really cool. I haven't even thought about that. They're trying to get Kansif out of there. Kansif is their main spellcaster here. And that was a very interesting way to get him out of the hunger because he was too heavy to shove him. So moved him out by an arrow of roaring thunder. That was some actually really impressive game mechanics there, game coding there to have that work. So fairly impressive. Okay, so how do I want to manage this now? Okay. Okay, we're gonna drop daylight right there. Going to drop Shield of Faith on Karlach, and we're gonna move back
Have to keep going.
out of the way.
I feel neither shadow nor death.
Okay, he maintained his concentration. Okay. So, for me here, I really want to cause more damage on Harness, but I would love to be able to incapacitate Kansif. My problem is going to be that I don't really have a methodology to do that 100% successfully. So we're going to move out of the way and try not to trigger any attacks of opportunity here. And I would love to be able to get this in a location where I can just get Kansif. Or, I mean, the Drider here. Because the problem is he's so hard to hit. Outstanding. And now we are going to move out of the way.
Keep going.
We're going to use combat inspiration on Karlach.
Let's go with fire.
Now Karlach is not on ask. It's going to trigger automatically. It's not even giving me an option.
All right, Karlach, it's go time.
To be able to set those. 'Cause I would prefer it to ask me, but it's not giving me an option to set them, I think, because she's not the active person right now. Okay, so Kansif, a lot is going to determine what happens with Kansif here. Okay, I'm really happy about you doing that. And you jumped back into the Hunger of Hadar. That makes sense. Oh, I didn't need that. Okay. Yeah, I didn't need a crit on that. Okay, yeah, it's kind of strange. My toggleable here for combat inspiration doesn't seem to be working. My attack of opportunity isn't listed in here either. So none of my reactions appear to be available. Which isn't great. Okay, so I'm going to have advantage on this attack. I can't harm Harness, but I can here. So I'm going to get in a regular attack first. Okay, good. Now, I'm not going to trigger an attack of opportunity if I move here. And I'm gonna have to move. And hope that he goes after somebody else. Because I got beat up on that turn. And I need to get healed. Let's use one of my potions of greater healing, and I'm still going to move back out of the way.
No surrender.
See if any more of them come out here or not.
This is my time.
Okay, so for Will, the main goal here is to not lose concentration, but also to keep them in the hunger. So make sure that Repelling Blast is on and get Kansif right into the middle of it while causing more damage. Okay, so for me, it's or for Shadowheart, it's really about healing. And we're gonna upcast Healing Word. That's going to give her Blade Ward as well. So she's going to be get resistance to piercing damage, which I believe is what is being caused by Karnas. Oh, it was slashing damage. Okay. So, but she's with Blade Ward. She's now resistant to that. And now let's see what we have left here. So, the warrior here's still up. Kansif might actually die from this next turn. Let's upcast this to level 2. Okay, well, we don't need the hunger anymore. Where's Kansif? Kansif is going to go next. So I'm going to leave the hunger up for one more turn. That will kill Kansif, and then we'll drop concentration on the hunger so that Harper Baranthos doesn't take any more hits. Okay, so now Sanctuary is still running for one more turn here. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm concentrating on Fairy Fire. I want to leave that up. I think I'm going to have to end up holding most of her turn here. Okay, Karlach still has Combat Inspiration. I think I'm going to hold my Bard's turn. Or just give up my Bard's turn. I want to make sure that Fairy Fire is kept active. So I'm not going to drop Cloud of Daggers, which would cause damage as soon as he comes out of Sanctuary. I'm just going to move my Bard out of the way to hopefully keep concentration on Fairy Fire, but I guess I can maybe end Kansif. Up one short. Okay. So now I can move back out of the way. I can get Will to drop concentration on the hunger since I don't need it anymore. Okay. Perfect. Alright, so now he's got Fairy Fire, so we don't even have to use a Reckless attack on this. We can just go to town and okay, so I didn't transfer over any of the other items. You know, might as well do this. No, I'm going to get the additional bonus action Frenzied Strike here, so we'll just go ahead and see what we got here. Okay, 1, 2. Actually, if I could get a Pommel Strike, that would be... No, because I'll just deal with my Bard on the next turn. So we'll just Frenzied Strike here. Okay. So for Will, I think giving the Drider disadvantage is going to be a better thing to do here, rather than causing more damage. Karnas is going to get another turn no matter what I do. So trying to give him disadvantage is probably the better option. What are my percent chance? 55? Well, I would have advantage with both of them, though. Well, maybe I do that with my Bard instead. Okay, so I still missed one of those. That was disappointing.
Can't give up.
Well, right now also, Jerry, remember, he's under Fairy Fire, so we have advantage on all of these strikes. If Fairy Fire was not active, you would have to be using her
Ready for another round?
her reckless attack, which would to get advantage, but that means that she would also have advantage on all attacks against her. So Fairy Fire right now is a big deal. Now for me, boy, if I do this, I need to manage what's going to happen up there. I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead. And managing my action economy here. Hopefully that's enough. Okay, so now, again, 55% chance to get this to work. Only a 30% chance that, so I think we're better off here. Trying to give him disadvantage on this. I can't cause enough damage to get him to die. So he's going to get one more attack and he's going to cast Sanctuary again.
You picked the wrong fight, friend.
That's outstanding. So now he has disadvantage on his next attack roll here.
Can't slow down.
Okay, so he missed one out of the 3, which is good. Okay, so now on this turn, I need to make sure I kill him because his Sanctuary is now available again. And we certainly don't want to let that happen, but again, with Fairy Fire being cast on him, that's a big deal. Alright.
Incredible. A light so radiant not even the curse can dim it.
The lantern flickers ever so briefly, and you hear a slight twitter. Or perhaps it's simply your imagination.
You. Don't move a goddamn muscle. Talk. Why in the hells would a cultist turn on her kind?
The pin the man wears is familiar to you. He belongs to the Harpers, a covert organization dedicated to freedom and balance.
A prisoner? Then I must be a welcome sight indeed. Follow me. I know a refuge from the darkness. You can rest there.
An inn. Last Light, it's called. A place you can sigh without the shadow beasts hearing. Let the lantern's light be your guide. I'll mark your map, should you lose the way.
Okay. And again, you can follow them.
Moving ahead.
Prime spot. What's that?
Don't worry about that. There's an invisibility check back there.
It's like there was a struggle here.
This place is protected.
Okay.
You might find allies here.
So,
or at least supplies.
the two main differences there that I talked about, one of them, in that it's much harder to manage that fight because of how it starts. I intentionally kind of moved away from the group there at the start, and that allowed me to cast Hunger of Hadar, where if you're intertwined with them, that's not going to be an option to do, which made it significantly easier. The second thing is that you do not get to pick up the moon lantern from the body of the Drider. We're going to go back and do that, Philip. We're going to go back and do that, but right now there's not a whole lot of point in looting the Drider because there's no moon lantern on the Drider's body. There are some other things that we're going to want, and we're going to go back and do that. But for now, that's the second main difference, is that you do not get the moon lantern from the Drider's body. And that plays a significant role in what you can and cannot do
Something must be keeping it at bay.
in the Shadowlands going forward. And we'll learn more about that as we go through, but we want to come in here first and have a couple of interactions.
You there! Step forward and keep your hands off your weapons.
Easy. She helped us out in the shadows.
Come. Jaheira!
Oh, that name. Here's another reason you want Karlach in your party. Okay, we have a bard option here.
It seems tales of my clemency have been greatly exaggerated.
These bard options are actually really, really funny.
You're about to. This is why we're here, you see. It is a curious creature that hides all manner of secrets. But if there's one thing that we know, it's that it knows its own kind. You should never have come here, true soul. Who protected the Emerald Grove.
Yup. Didn't leave a goblin standing. Not so bad to hang around with either. Saved two of my friends. One from a harpy and one from a mad druid with a snake. Didn't make a fuss about thieving either. A pretty much trust her with my life.
A true soul with a mind of her own? How is that possible? What in the hell is that thing? Congratulations. You've earned yourself the benefit of the doubt. Hear me, Harpers. All clear. At ease. I'll not pretend to understand what that artifact is. But I'm old and wise enough to recognize a sliver of hope when it crawls out of the dark. Tell me, why have you come here? Then you found an ally in me. For that is precisely why I am here. There's food in the inn over there. Beds too if you require rest. Aloe oil in the cupboard, in case the vines gave you a rash. Settle in. Then come join me for a drink. You may just be the godsend we've been praying for.
Might be knocking around here, right?
Okay, so we're going to talk to Karlach real quick.
Oh my god, soldier. That's Jaheira. The Jaheira. Not personally. I mean, I wish. She's an absolute legend. Years ago, over a century, Jaheira was part of a group that saved Baldur's Gate from Saravok, a Baalspawn trying to plunge the city into war. My mum used to tell us stories about them. The legends who protected the city from evil. She said Jaheira was a powerful druid. Adamant. Tough. I've told myself those stories 1,000 times since. I never thought I'd meet Jaheira. She's a hero, and I was always some outer city kid. Can't believe she wants to talk to us about working together. What a day!
Okay, and again, with Karlach in your party, you get some of these great interactions. That's not the only reason you bring her, that's just an added bonus on top of it. The events that she's referring to are over a century ago in lore time. They are 23 years ago in our time. And that's when Baldur's Gate 2 was released in 2000. So seeing Jaheira again is one of those, it's honestly, in all truthfulness, it's fan service. But it is one of the better fan services that they could have possibly done. For all of us who remember that game so fondly, it's just amazing to see it. So, the last thing we're going to do before we end the live stream is head over here. And you can hear Karlach already yelling it as she moves. Because here is Dammon again. We find him again here in the Last Light Inn, and we're going to talk to him.
Karlach, I thought you'd be in the city by now. We were ambushed by cultists. Half of us were captured, the other half ran here.
Off the anvil into the forge. We'll find them. Hopefully.
Before you run off into the belly of the beast, there's something I need to tell you. Well, two things. Good news and bad news.
The good news, obviously.
I only need one more piece of infernal iron to craft an insulating chamber that can make it possible for Karlach to
touch people.
Exactly.
Oh my god. It's really happening. It's been so long. We've got the iron. Let's do this thing.
Hang on. I think you'll want to hear the bad news too.
Yeah, sure. But first, fix me. Please.
Well, all right. This shouldn't take long. Same as last time. You'll need to install it yourself. This should do the trick.
There. So did it work?
Only one way to find out.
Thank you. I can't believe it. Thank you, Dammon. Thank you so much.
It's the least I could do. Before you go, there's something I need to tell you. That engine of yours, it's contained for the moment, but it's just too hot to exist here in the material plane indefinitely. I know you know that, but the thing is, there's a cure. I wasn't making any headway with the mechanics, none at all. The environment here is just too cold to sustain metals like the ones inside you. You have to return to Avernus. For good. Or this thing is going to burn you up from the inside out. And sooner than you think.
The minute I set foot back in Avernus, Zarya will force me back into service. I'm not doing her bidding again. I'd rather die.
I get that, but don't rule it out. The world just might be better with you in it. Even in Avernus. I won't stop trying to figure out a cure, but at this point, I think we all have to face the inevitable.
Yeah. Apart from the doom and gloom, you've given me more than I could ever hope to repay.
It's been my pleasure. Good luck, both of you. Look after yourself, all right?
That is the main reason that you bring Karlach with you on this, at least this portion of the journey at the start.
This is the best day. The best day! I'm so happy for me too. Now I just need to find someone to cuddle up to tonight, and I'll be the happiest woman on the Sword Coast. I'm not sure. Depends who's got me in mind. Withers was giving me the old eye the other night. Then again, maybe it was just an old eye.
If you ask about this, you're going to get disapproval from her. She doesn't want to think about the downside. She's really, really happy right now. So again, that is the main reason that you bring Karlach along. I will let y'all leave me comments about whether or not I should continue adventuring with her. If we're going to, it's going to take quite a bit of additional work to get her truly outfitted, but we can certainly do it. Compared to what Lae'zel's ready for, but like I say, we can certainly do it. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other, as far as I'm concerned. We can play it out however you guys would like, but Lae'zel or Karlach from now on don't necessarily have any particular parts to play in the Shadowlands itself. Before we go, we are going to talk to Dammon again.
It's you. What are the odds? So glad you're all right. Well, as all right as any of us. A makeshift Harper's Fire might not be where I hope to set up shop. But maybe I've got something you can use anyway. And if you find any interesting materials in need of working, I'm happy to help.
Okay, so you can go through and look at his wares. Dammon is one of those vendors who offers some of the most powerful items in the game. Not just from a sales standpoint, but also from a building and crafting perspective. So you have an opportunity to not save him in Act 1, and you would lose out on all the benefits that he has to offer you in Act 2 and 3. You have another opportunity here to let him die, and you would miss out on anything that he would be able to help you with in Act 3. So keeping Dammon alive really gives you a lot of benefits when it comes to outfitting your characters. But this is what we're interested in right now.
I hesitated to mention this back in the Druid's Grove, for obvious reasons, but no one has earned my trust if not you. When Elturel was dragged into Avernus, I was drafted into a devil's smithy. It should have been awful. But infernal metal is like a wild horse. Powerful, exuberant. It'll kill you if you lack technique. I can sense some. Smell it almost. Somewhere in the area. Underground, maybe. Out there in the shadows. If you find it, bring it to me. I'll make something incredible.
Okay. So I have some more pieces of infernal iron, and Karlach doesn't need any more of them. So let's see what he can do here.
Absolutely. Rare to get your hands on this stuff. Well done keeping it to hand.
There you are. And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
Okay, and we get the flawed Helldusk armor.
Need anything?
We talk to him again.
It's perfect. Really. Just a moment. I'll be able to work this one quickly.
We're going to go a couple of minutes long because there's one more interaction with him, and then we'll end the live stream and get ready for the Paladin one.
There you are. And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
Okay. And we'll wait for this to pop out. Got an inspiration out of that for doing it the second time, and we get the flawed Helldusk helmet.
Seems like a good moment to talk. Looks like that one.
Need anything?
I have one more.
Well, well, well. I knew I smelled something, and I know just what to do with it. One moment.
And this is why I got all of the infernal iron out of the chest. It's also why I got the devil foil masks out of the chest.
There you are. And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
You get the gloves. There's one more piece to this. And there's one more piece of infernal iron here you can find in the Shadowlands. But for now...
Using something that's already fabricated is tough. But I can try. How many do you have?
You can actually have up to 4 masks, I believe, if you pick them all up.
I thought I sniffed American scent somewhere. These must have been a pain to get a hold of. American masks are brittle, so what I make won't last as long as my usual pieces. There. Be careful who sees you using that. Might draw the wrong sort of eyes.
Okay, so now let's take a look at what I don't think I have 4 masks. Let me check. I think I only had 3. Yeah. We're not going to check his inventory yet. That's going to take much longer to go through. But thankfully, we have a lot of money on this playthrough. So we picked up these 3 items here. The Helldusk helmet is medium armor. Has a +2 bonus to saving throws against spells and a Constitution saving throw bonus of +1. So overall, a decent helmet. The flawed Helldusk armor is heavy armor, which again, Karlach is not proficient with at the way she's currently set up. But this has lesser infernal retribution. When you're hit by a foe, it takes 1d4 fire damage. It's superior plate, so you take 1 less piercing damage on all piercing attacks. Then you got the flawed Helldusk gloves, which your weapon attacks now deal an additional 1d4. If you are unarmed, for your monk character, your unarmed attacks deal an additional 1d4 necrotic damage and can possibly inflict bleeding. So you have some gloves here that are beneficial to a lot of different character classes. The last thing that we built, or had him build, were the Orthon explosives. These are grenades that you can throw, which deal 3d6 fire damage, and they also deal a thunder damage just from a knockback perspective, and they cause that fire to burn for 3 turns, so they burn longer than normal fire that you throw out for a surface or something like that. So Dammon can craft some interesting things for you. This is the flawed Helldusk versions of the armor. There is a perfect version of this, which you can also get in Act 3. So just keep that in mind as we're kind of going through these things. So what we're going to end up doing, that gets us to a good spot where we can save and get ready for next week. We're going to spend probably the first half of next week's live stream here inside of the Last Light Inn. There's a lot of stuff to look at and to do here. We're going to start off by trying to... That's something else I also need to look at. Okay, so I already have Dammon's attitude all the way up. So we're getting any gear from him at a substantial discount for this. So we don't have to worry about selling all of this stuff that we're carrying, or giving him all of this stuff we're carrying to get his attitude up. And this is, I couldn't remember if I had done this or not. In Act 1, if you give a bunch of stuff to him when you barter and don't get any gold in response, his attitude will go up. We've already maxed it out. That's really going to be a big deal here, because some of the stuff that Dammon has in his inventory can get incredibly expensive. Minus 150%, the scale mail +2 here would be something like 1,250 gold. We're getting it for 480. So the Sword of Life Stealing, and again, I'm just spending more time. I wasn't going to do this. Again, is like 1,200 gold if you don't have his attitude up. If you do not have his attitude up, give him all of this stuff that you've been collecting. just go into barter, put that stuff in here, and instead of saying balance offer, just give it to him. And you will see his attitude go up. And at level 7, I think it's something like 2,000 gold or something like that you have to donate to him. The lower level you are, the lower amount of gold you have to donate to get their attitude maxed out. So it's best to do it in Act 1, but since, like we've already done. But if you have to do it here, that's why you're carrying all of this stuff amongst all your multiple characters, is so that you can give him all of this stuff and then be able to buy these things at a lower cost. What we're going to do...
I'll be here if you need anything else.
Over here is another trader whose attitude toward us right now is normal. We're going to use all of this stuff in our inventory just to give to her to increase her attitude so we can buy her stuff cheaper. We're not going to meet her again, I don't believe. But it's going to... We don't need all the extra credits from this. It's not going to equal out what it's going to cost to purchase all of the stuff we want from her. But giving her all of this other stuff and raising that so we can buy it cheaper is going to be what we're going to do. And we will get into all of that next stream. So that's why we're going to be here at the Last Light Inn for a while before we go adventuring again. So, as a reminder, in a little bit less than an hour, and hey Mandalorian, thanks for being here. Yeah, we're just about to end it, but we're about to take a break, and a reminder, as I'm going to say to everybody, is the Paladin live stream is going to start in a little bit less than an hour at 2 o'clock Central Time. Like I say, 50 minutes from where whatever time is now in your local time zone. And we are already in the Shadowlands. We had just started the Shadowlands, and we entered from the Underdark, so an entirely different way to go through getting here to the Last Light Inn. Will be explored in the Paladin playthrough. So you'll really want to check it out and see how both of the different ways go. So again, thank you all for being here today. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.